Welcome back to another Basketball Novice video. Today I have something I'm pretty excited to do. Just punched my desk, but Colin Cowherd always does NBA midseason awards or NFL midseason awards on the Herd, and I've always been really interested in his NBA ones in particular just because of how horrible they are. Colin Cowherd over here. He just seems like one of those analysts for me who just makes basketball content without watching basketball at all. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base. But I guess right now we are going to look at his midseason awards and see where he's at. I have only seen one award so far, so most of this is new to me. If you go on to like this video and also think Colin Cowherd is an absolute certified clown, hit the like button and let's just get this started.
Halfway through the NBA season, All-Star game this weekend. Yesterday was the All-Star game. I'm going to hand out my mid-season NBA awards. Joy, let's go. Let's hand them out. Let's make some kids very, very happy.
Okay. Best face in a new place. Really LaMelo Ball, James Harden, Chris Paul, or Doc Rivers?
Not an easy choice. All done a really good job, but I'm going to go with 35-year-old Chris Paul, back-to-back.
This was one of his, this is the only one I've seen, and I actually agreed with it, which is why I said maybe I'm wrong this year. Maybe he's found some spare time to watch the NBA. I don't understand the nomination of LaMelo Ball, though. Obviously he's a new face in a new place, but he's never been in another place, so it really doesn't seem like this is the kind of award for him. I saw someone else on YouTube who said, oh yeah, LaMelo Ball should have taken this one. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So, I think Chris Paul, being a Sixers fan, I think Doc Rivers has been really, really huge. But I think Chris Paul's definitely taken the Suns to, an actual playoff team contender status. And, he lets Devin Booker play with so much more freedom, and him and DeAndre Ayton have a nice link-up, so this is not a bad take from Colin Cowherd whatsoever.
All-Star at 35. This is what a winning player does. With the Hornets, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, and now Suns, each team has increased their winning percentage when he arrived. Phoenix has not made the playoffs in 11 years. In fact, they've been bad. The only time for a moment we liked them was in the bubble last year, which was a weird year. Now they have one of the top records, second best record in the NBA. Classic.
I wonder how the Suns
Paul
would have turned out if they kept their team from the bubble.
Steph Curry, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, or Zion Williamson?
Again, tough choice. I like new stuff. Zion Williamson.
I'm going to let him explain this one, but most exciting? Come on. I don't think Zion Williamson ticks those boxes for me just yet.
19 points a game in the paint, leads the NBA.
No,
just to think how young he is.
But
He has 20-plus points on 50% shooting in 14 straight games. History of the league. Nobody's ever done that. And his game is so different than everybody else. We are scratching the surface on Zion.
It is very different because he is small and plays a heavy post game. But how can you not get excited watching Steph Curry or Damian Lillard play? I get Zion's new. I'm not going to say I agree with this take. I would give it to Steph Curry, but this is at least justified. I understand the concept considering it's a most exciting award.
Player not named LeBron: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, James Harden.
If they're talking about this season, it's obviously Joel Embiid, MVP, but I guess in general, it's usually Giannis, but let's see what he goes with.
Went back and forth, but it is a three-ball shooting league, and I'll say Steph Curry. Okay, Steph Curry right now leads the NBA with 169 made three-pointers. That is the league's future. He's averaged the fourth leading scorer, and he doesn't have Klay Thompson. He's got some disparate parts he's making work, and they're very close to being a playoff team.
Net who will cause the most friction: Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, James Harden, or Kyrie Irving?
What?
Kevin Durant's pretty chill. Blake Griffin's lucky to be there. James Harden is just happy he's not in Houston.
Yeah.
So if you're giving me the choice, I'd say Kyrie Irving, who's already missed 11 games. He had that little COVID party thing where he didn't wear a mask, wasn't very good. Took kind of a hiatus in January. So given the choice, I think James Harden and Blake Griffin are just so happy to be there.
Player you want to see traded.
Pretty true.
Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Nikola Vucevic.
Well, I've been on this forever. Bradley Beal leads the NBA in scoring. Washington's never gotten past the second round. He has this strange loyalty to the Wizards. I know LeBron loves him. I've been told that by LeBron's camp. They've been eyeing him for years. I'm not sure why people don't make a run. He is expensive, but I just feel he's he's got a very consistent personality. He scores 40 points a lot. The problem is when he does, they've lost 11 straight because he got nobody else to balance him out.
I did not think his takes were going to be this good this year. But I mean, that's kind of a softball question. I feel like most NBA fans would definitely say that Bradley Beal should be traded from the Wizards. The Wizards do not look like doing anything productive in Bradley Beal's winning timeline. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they get him the help. But, I mean, if it's not him and John Wall, I feel like there's not much of a chance. I don't know why Ben Simmons was on this list. I understand when Harden was on the market, the Sixers were talking about trading Ben Simmons for James Harden, but I said back then, and I will say it now, that would have ruined the balance of this team so much. Ben Simmons does so much for this team on defense and playmaking, and I'm going to go out and say the cliche. If you think Ben Simmons is not a good player, you are a casual. Next.
Most surprising team: Jazz, Knicks, Nets, or Suns?
I gotta give it to the Knicks. Julius Randle's a very solid player. R.J. Barrett, you loved him out of college. Very talented.
I think all are good answers.
But honestly, I thought the whole Tom Thibodeau doing gassers,
I also didn't think Tom Thibodeau was going to do much.
And right now they're above 500. They play very well together. I do wonder, minutes-wise, he'll push. He's like Pat Riley 30 years ago. He'll push guys. But the Knicks are interesting,
and somehow Julius
that's
Randle
good for the
was
NBA.
Pretty much deserved
Future
All-Star.
face of the NBA: Giannis, LaMelo, Luka, or Zion?
I'm going to go Zion. I want to read.
I am also going to go Zion Williamson. That is a really tough question, actually. I feel like Luka, LaMelo, and Zion are definitely on their own timeline. Because, they're all like 21, 22, 23. Giannis is kind of in the now. He's not obviously the face of the NBA because of LeBron, but I feel like he's in an awkward time frame. So I would either say Luka or Zion, but I'm going to go with Zion just because I feel like he definitely fits the NBA mold for what they want, and like kind of a guy like, a really explosive, athletic forward who can score and make the game exciting. Luka's obviously a great player, and might end up being the best player in the league, but Zion, I think I'm going to go with Colin Cowherd on this one. I think Zion might be the future face of the NBA.
Stat. The only player to score more points than Zion Williamson through his first 58 NBA games in the three-point era, Michael Jordan. And he's got a Michael Jordan buzz about him. The look, the likability, the intensity, the passion. There are just a lot of qualities here. He's a marketing person's fantasy, loves the game, kind of plays different. Like physically, Michael was doing stuff, jumping from the free throw line we hadn't seen since like Dr. J. Zion is like Barkley, but I think stronger.
The sleeping giant.
Okay, I have to talk about that take. Yes, I definitely towards the end understand why you're saying Michael Jordan-esque. Obviously not anything directly like him, but that's so over the top, bro. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. Like, leave it alone. Zion Williamson will pave his own path. I would not go to that extent yet. He's a good kid, and he likes basketball, and he looks like a really good player, but for all you know, he could end up just being a multi-time all-star and, like, not leading the Pelicans to anything. Hope he doesn't, obviously, but Michael Jordan-esque is a blasphemy.
Celtics, Heat, Mavericks, or Warriors?
I'm going to go Mavs. They've won 8 of their last 10. Now, Porzingis got hurt early, so they weren't very good early. They also had a COVID outbreak. So I think they're a pretty interesting team. Luka feels like 30 a night. Won 10 of 13 heading into the All-Star break. They've got to become a better defensive team, but they're playing really well right now.
I think they'll make a move before the deadline.
76ers, Jazz, Knicks, or Spurs?
Spurs don't have a player averaging more than 20 a game. That's problematic in the playoffs. And it was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago I looked up the top 100 three-point shooters in the NBA. They had Patty Mills and one other player, but analytically they feel behind other teams, and I don't buy you can win it with a bunch of guys scoring 14.
Once again, a surprisingly nice take from Colin Cowherd. I mean, I really don't think the Jazz or the Sixers are pretenders. I think they're both really good teams this year. I'm not saying that means they're both going to the finals, because obviously the Nets and the Lakers would still be the favorites, despite the Sixers and Jazz being the 1 seeds, but I think the Jazz and Sixers are both really well-oiled teams and will probably have a pretty significant playoff run. So I don't think you can call them pretenders. The Knicks, I don't think I'd call them pretenders just because it's not like they're a 2 seed or something. Like, they're a solid playoff team, and it's not like you're expecting them to go to the NBA Finals. So, I mean, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, like, why not? Like, they could probably make like maybe they'll get bounced first round, but like a playoff performance, an appearance, like, it's not bad for the Knicks. Even second round, like, that'd be a good productive season. So I think the Spurs definitely, like he said, like, having no real number 1 option, especially they're getting rid of LaMarcus and maybe even DeMar DeRozan before the trade deadline. So I would say, even though the Spurs aren't necessarily pretenders, there definitely could be a falling off element of them towards the end of the season.
Underappreciated: Steph Curry, LeBron James,
if it's not
Damian Lillard, or Chris Paul?
We don't need to go into it. I think Steph Curry is laughably underappreciated.
Well,
we just hadn't seen him.
Depending on who you talk to, for sure. Some people do not get how good Steph Curry is. Anyone who thought the Warriors weren't going to make the playoffs, I'm looking at you, Tyler. I think the Warriors have a really good playoff chance because they just have one of the greatest point guards of all time, probably number 2 right behind Magic Johnson. So I think Steph Curry, definitely, depending on who you talk to, is underrated. But I think, as a whole, I think Chris Paul is underrated just because people always think he's washed. People always say, like, oh, like, he's already 35, 36, like, he's not that good anymore, blah, 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 blah. Like, Chris Paul will turn any team into a championship contender, especially a team with Devin Booker. Okay, maybe not a chip contender, but a playoff team, like, full stop. He did that with the Thunder, and there were not many worse teams than the Thunder at the time. And he's making the Suns a really competitive, maybe deep playoff run team. So
do anything on a
I would say Chris Paul and Steph Curry, depending on who you talk to,
took over the All-Star game. It's what he does.
Lakers' biggest West challenger: Clippers, Jazz, Suns, or Blazers?
Probably the Jazz.
I would say Clippers because they have good wing defenders in Paul George and Kawhi, and those guys have missed. Let me look it up. Paul's missed 11 games, Kawhi 8, and they're still the 4 seed. I don't think their bench is as good as last year.
That's for sure.
But I do think the second year together probably be better than the first. Again, I think Utah's good, but they have a hole. They don't have a wing. Joe Ingles. They don't have a wing defender to guard LeBron, and I think you put. If LeBron plays 36 minutes in a playoff game and I can put Kawhi on him for 20 and Paul George on him for 16 to 18, you can make his life a little more difficult.
Okay, I agree that the Clippers are more well-suited to defend LeBron James in a playoff series. But I think the Jazz, if they put Royce O'Neal on LeBron, like, LeBron would be just doing LeBron stuff and it would be up to the rest of the team to win the game. And I think the Jazz have a much better chance at beating the Lakers than the Clippers do. I don't think the Clippers are that good. I also am not a super fan of Tyronn Lue. I think he's kind of meh. I know he won a chip with LeBron in Cleveland, but LeBron kind of won that chip himself. He kind of coached his way through the team, so I do not agree with Colin Cowherd on that one. I think the Clippers, if anything, are kind of pretenders. I mean, of course, Kawhi and Paul George have missed a lot of games, and they'll certainly be better than they're acting right now. Like, they're definitely a team that could be built for the playoffs. I just think in terms of beating the Lakers, no. I think the Clippers would make a nice series with the Suns or someone of that sort, like one of the secondary contenders, but I think the Jazz are definitely just such a well-rounded team that the Lakers would have a problem with.
Player you want taking the last shot? Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, LeBron James, or Zion Williamson?
Now this is
Damian
close,
Lillard.
actually, because I think
or Steph Curry.
Damian Lillard is
Damian
got a
Lillard.
confidence about him. Damian's really good, but I'm on a Steph Curry bandwagon today. So he leads the NBA
Fair
with
enough.
4.8 made three-pointers a game. He's shooting 48% from three in clutch time this season. Listen, I've said before in the show, Dame and Steph Curry are the two best last shot of the game guy. You know, it's funny. And they went to Davidson and Weber State. I was watching this yesterday. The All-Stars.
Small school
Giannis,
game.
Luka, abroad,
John Morant.
Davidson, LeBron's high school.
There's many different ways you can get
There's
there.
a lot of different routes. Paul George went to Fresno State. Kawhi went to San Diego State. And not a lot of Duke guys. I mean, really, it's funny. It's we say this about quarterbacks in the NFL. Look at all these all-stars and look at all the places they come from.
There's something to being overlooked and having to overcome some
That's
stuff.
fair.
A little chip on your shoulder. Damian Weber State, Steph Curry, Davidson. LeBron High School. Zion's a Duker for 1 year.
Oh, I guess that's it. That was a really long outro for him saying basically nothing. So anyway, I actually did not think he had many really bad takes this year. I feel like in previous years I've been like, oh my gosh, Colin Cowherd is at it again, but I will call the man Colin Cowherd because most of these were at least respectable. I mean, I don't think the Clippers are a real threat to the Lakers, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy a video like this and want to see me react to more NBA stuff, let me know down in the comments, because this was definitely fun to make as I hit my pop filter, and I would definitely want to do more of these. So if you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.